Hi, good evening. This is Mark. I work at one of the Apple retail store, and if you see these clips, I might be already dead. Before I die, I would like to leave something behind for you. In general, through YouTube's website, none of those Apple employers are allowed to publish something of these online tutorials on YouTube. But I will break the rules. I'll be the first person to do this in the world. What you're going to get from this video is I'm going to teach you how to choose the right Mac and the right iPod for you. So firstly, I got a Macbook Pro right here. Why people decide to choose a Mac? Because firstly, Mac will never get infected by any kind of computer virus because Mac has been created on unique platforms. Secondly, Mac is more stable. It will not get usually hangs or crash all the time. It's more stable. Thirdly, Mac allows you to install both Macs and Windows at the same time simultaneously. You can even choose to run Macs or Windows one at a time or run both of them at the same time by using an additional application like VMware Fusion or Parallels. Fourthly, Mac is very easy because it works right out of the box. You first open up the box, Mac came preloaded with everything that you might need from OS to iLife or 9. Every Mac comes with a 1-year international warranty. That means you can have your Mac fixed throughout the world at any nearest neighborhood Apple stores in any country. That's the Mac. And lastly, in general, Mac will never require any additional driver. If you buy a Mac and you want to hook up your Mac to any additional video cameras, printers, whatever and so on, and even monitors, just plug it in and enjoy that additional device. It will never require any additional driver. So please kindly allow me to give you a quick tour of how Macs look like. I got a MacBook Pro right here. Every MacBook Pro, allow me to introduce the MacBook Pro. It comes with an LCD backlit display. You know, there's a misconception. In general, it doesn't mean the LED display is sharper or brighter or is much better or got higher resolutions compared to the LCD. But the LED display, in general, the LED bulb on the backs of the screen, it generates the high temperatures, so it won't burn the front glass of the screen. So you get true colors all the time, so you don't have to recalibrate your screen all the time. And secondly, you can see the iSight camera right here is a very high resolution webcam. Every Mac comes pre-equipped with 7-hour batteries. So the batteries on your Mac last up to 7 hours. Called 7 hours four-cell lithium polymer batteries, which allows to enjoy your Macs up to 7 hours on one charge, and the battery even lasts more than 5 years and allows to charge up to 1,000 times. This is called unibody. The unibody is you can't find any joints here, so it's perfectly molded. So we kind of bend like this in one here and cracks around here. And you've got illuminated keyboard that would glow in the dark automatically. And this is very nice. Double layer super dry, allows you to burn and read and write any double layers DVD9 that contains up to 7.7 gig storage capacity. And you can see the power adapter. This is like a smart power adapter. It's very good. It's called MagSafe 1. When I actually kicks it, it's very easy. So this lovely laptop won't fly over and drop to itself on the floor. This is very nice. You got 5-wire 800 port. You got mini display ports that allow to transfer the ports or change the port, hook up to any device that support DVI or HDMI or even VGA to your projector. Okay, you got 2 USB ports. This is called SD card reader. And it has a port called audio in or out, which can be set or changed or determined by going to the system preferences. This is a very nice one. So, please kindly allow me to give you some information. Mac will never take advantage of the consumer. There is another model called Macbook White. The Macbook White is cheaper than this one. Okay, it's much cheaper. It has been made of polycarbonate hard plastic. But the Macbook White had exactly the same graphic cards compared to this one. So, lots of people tend to ask me during my working day, which Mac should I go for? The white one or the Pro one? Let me get this straight. The primary difference between the Mac and the Pro is the port. The MacBook White doesn't have the 5-wire 800 port. The 5-wire 800 port, in general, from my opinion, from my experience, it allows to transfer files up to 3 times faster than a USB. Okay? Let alone the upcoming USB 3, we're going to talk about that in the futures, but now we got the 5-wire 800 port. So in order to transfer files, like for instance, you want to download some movie bit from the internet, or you want to use any tape-based video camera or something, you need 5-wire 800 port because it's faster than USB. But USB 2.0 allow you to transfer video file also, it is slower. That's why. So the MacBook is now available in actually, firstly we get 3 configurations. For this size, 13-inch, firstly we call the MacBook White, secondly this is the MacBook Pro, and lastly the MacBook Air. The MacBook Air is one of the thinnest laptop in the world. It's very thin, it's incredibly thin, but it doesn't have a DVD drive. But it's not a disadvantage because for those CEO, for those world-class speakers, they don't usually require a DVD drive in general. They don't usually require that. So people tend to use less DVD drives nowadays. So the MacBook Air is also nice. It needs something that's very thin. So the MacBook Pro is now available in 3 different sizes. Firstly, this is 13.3-inch semi-wide screens. We can go up to 15.4, and then top of the line is 17. So I suggest before you buy a Mac, firstly you have to determine and ask yourself this very question: how do you plan on using your computer for? How do you plan on using that? Do you need 5-wire 800 port? Because lots of people tend to buy a laptop first, but they don't want to even carry that out of their house or their office. So I suggest the iMac desktop instead. So when I finish this, there are a number of the next steps of how to get a Mac. So please allow me to introduce the Mac Mini. If you are currently a PC user, you have a very nice set of PC back home, okay? You can buy a Mac Mini. Mac Mini is a very small, tiny box of CPU like this. Mac Mini allows you to reuse your existing mouse, keyboard, and monitor. So that's the least expensive way to get started with your Mac. But if you got nothing today and you want to start over by buying the Mac Mini and buy the whole screen again, buy a mouse, buy a keyboard, I would suggest you go for the iMac. iMac is very nice, okay? Unfortunately, I bought a MacBook Pro for myself, but I could not afford to buy another iMac. But imagine, iMac is a very nice, sleek design, thin screen with its own CPU built right in. The new iMac is now available in 2 different sizes, 21.5-inch and 27. So 4 gigs of RAM is standard across the entire line, okay? 1 terabyte is standard across the entire line, except the least expensive one is only 500 gigs of the hard drive. So in general, it's very easy to determine one. First select your own screen, and then you tend to select the specification, whether to go for entry level or the more expensive one. And lastly, the Mac Pro. Mac Pro is a very huge, bulky unit that allows you to increase the hard drive. It has 4 bays of hard drive, allows you to increase the hard drive up to 8 terabyte. Okay, allows you to increase 2 to 4 graphic cards. On one Mac Pro, which is very nice. So first, you have to ask this first about how do you plan on using your Mac for decide to buy. Okay, I'm now working at one of Thailand, the best there is and the best that works, and the largest retail